Good evening. Welcome to the stream, all of you watching us right now. It is Italy versus Poland tonight, second match for both teams, and well, we're excited to see this. I'm Oscar, your host, and with me tonight is Omer from Virtual Gata. Omer, how are you doing?
I'm good, Oscar. I'm excited for this match because both teams are quite strong. So here we are for another Nations Cup with top teams. It's
Yep,
gonna be fun to watch.
absolutely. So, well, Italy in their first match obviously had this perfect victory against France, winning 7-0, and Poland in their first match were against Germany, and it was
Yes,
quite a tight match for this one. The deciding race was the last one in the F50, 3-4 for Poland. So will Poland manage to do better than the French against the Italians
let's see.
and
For the
score
moment,
a
they're
few rounds?
keeping.
Who knows, maybe win?
Yeah.
And it's a go for the first race. So it's going to be
Whoa.
a 2v2 mixed race in the Star in the N-shape course, or a pretty new course that we're going to use throughout the Nations Cup. And well, if we're looking at the roster on both teams, it's Scheidlofin and Aquila Antila on the Polish side. So two well, very prominent Polish players. Aquila, the female player, is also very well renowned in the steering the course competition. It is also one of the finalists for the eSailing World Championship Grand Final. And on the Italian side, we have Pimpi and 42. So 42 is also one of the finalists in the eSailing World Championship. So we actually have two finalists in these four players. And Pimpi, that we haven't seen in a while in the Nations Cup, the Italian sailor. And I want to say it was quite a good start from the Polish.
It
Um,
is. It is a solid start
yeah,
from Polish players. But yeah, as you know, with this boat, um, the downwind will change everything in a while. So let's see how it will turn out.
yeah, absolutely. Star is well actually one of your favorite boats, Omer the Guler on Virtua Regatta. I'm sure if you're looking up for his name. Um, and we do have this well this long downwind in the third leg, so this is where the Star will shine. And well, maybe you prefer being in like behind your opponent to try to slow them, catch up, and get them from behind. But it's going to be the two
Yes.
Polish who round the mark first, as the Italians are still behind the two of them. And Kestilve, hey everybody, I've been using VRI for a while now, and I'm wondering what the best way to get into organized virtual racing is for this winter. So definitely joining the Discord server for Virtuagata Inshore, and you'll be put in touch with a lot of well other players from the community, and they organize their own competitions, community made competitions. So when Virtuagata itself is not offering like the eSailing World Championship or the eSailing Nations Cup, um, you will have these competitions made by the community, which is well who run basically the same way as any other competition do. Like they are very well organized and have their own rules and everything. And I want to say thank you, Weeksaj, and thank you, Andrea Circle, for the follow. Nice to have you here. So, start of this downwind, Poland still in front of the Italians, but slowed down by their wind shadows. And this is the signature in the
Yes.
starboat.
So Pimpy is accepting, Akila is accepting her fate. So she's not trying to escape or doing any maneuvers because she knows really well Pimpy is going to catch up. So she's just waiting for her and she's getting ready for the fight.
Yep, and maybe well, that's certainly part of the strategy. Easing her sail, slowing down. Unfortunately, that was not enough to escape the penalty from 42. Maybe we can describe how points work in team racing.
Yes,
Team racing, well,
yes,
yep, go
I'll
for it.
let you go ahead.
Okay, well, team racing is, well, kind of like fleet racing for the scoring. So your position is the number of points you'll get. So if you're first, you get 1 point, second, 2 points, third, 3 points, and so on. Um, And in team racing, well, you just add the position of each of your team members. So currently, Poland are first and fourth, so that'll be 5 points in total, 4 plus 1. And Italy the same, 2 plus 3 equals 5, so they both have 5 points. The difference is in team racing, arriving first in case of tie in points actually means that you will lose the round. So if Poland arrive first and fourth and Italy arrive second and third, then Italy will take the win because their team member did not cross the finish line first. As we're saying that Aquila and Sila is sandwiched between the two Italian players, Scheidlo is slowing down. You see him at the top of the screen over there,
Yeah,
waiting for
exactly.
his.
That's why having the first place is not quite the good news in this 2 versus 2 match.
Well, definitely not having the first place so far ahead, because if you need to come back, it might be too late. And
Yeah.
if you arrive and if you cross the finish line first, you better make sure that your teammate crosses the finish line not after third position. And I see Andrea Circle and Vito Black team supporting the Italians over here. And let's switch to the battle between Pimpy and Scheidlo at the mark. And Pimpy takes the penalty from Scheidlo
Well
and what is happening over here? Kilan Tila still behind Lorenzo, 42. And he's not going towards the mark yet. He's kind of taking the long route. Meanwhile, we see that Pimpy and Scheidlo are both waiting for their teammates to catch up a bit and slowing down. And obviously, you probably want to tackle the upwind in front of the fleet, because that means you can slow down the opponents under you, who will be behind you, and have better control on what's happening, as 42 and Aquila and Tila both round the third mark, and I see a penalty on Scheidlo over there. Well played from Pimpy. She is now in first position, and she's going to continue to round the mark. Keep Scheidlo in check.
I think she will try to sail off because 42 is a very strong player, so she'll just have to trust her teammate.
Yeah, exactly. And an
for
interesting
taking the
maneuver over
third
here.
place.
Yep. 42 is a very good player, but that means that you fully trust your teammates to do the correct decision. And that was an interesting maneuver here from 42, going above the mark and then rounding back to round it properly. He's keeping Attila and Kila in his wind shadow, and we see Scheidlo and Pimpy coming back down for a dial down, trying to help his teammate. Almost a clash here between Scheidlo and 42. They're going to have to put a penalty, because right now it is 1 and 2 for the Italians and 3 and 4 for the Polish.
So the tables have turned now. Polish are catching up and the Italians are leading the race. But it's still quite close.
Yeah, they're still almost halfway through this last upwind. And Scheidlo is in a difficult position, but he is close to, and well, Aquila Antila has a straight line towards the finish line. We will see if the strategy pays off.
So in the last edition, we didn't have any upwind finishes. How do you think it's changed the matches, Oscar?
Absolutely. We didn't have any upwind finish. It was only downwind finish in the classical upwind downwind course. And well, I'm going to say it changes a lot of things. The strategy for finishing is very different. You will see a lot of back and forth throughout the N-shape course, whereas before, most of the deciding action was actually during that last downwind. And well, it's completely different over here, and we see some very interesting finish. It makes it a lot more competitive, and it means that you really have to fight for during the whole course. And well, Italy is going to cross the finish line first. It's 1 and 2 for Italy, 3 and 4 for Poland. So 3 to 7 for the Italians, and 1-0 in total for this round.
Yeah, solid finish from Italia. even though Polish players had a great start.
And thank you, Miguel MG, for the follow. Isaac0103 for the follow as well in Just Circle. Thank you all guys, all you guys for following us, and bravo La Pimpi from Vito Black Team. Well played from the Italians, and this is just round 1. Next up is going to be a 3v3 in the Ilka. Same in this N-shape course.
Yes, players should join any minute by now. So with Ilka, the start is going to be quite critical because you don't really have that chance to catch up with a long wind shadow on downwind. That is why they are going to try to place themselves on the best spot possible right before we hit 0.
Yep. And well, it's a similar kind of boat as the Star, but behaves very differently, as you said. It's a lot more agile, and but like the Star, a lot of the battle is likely going to happen in the downwind because the wind shadow can be very effective with the Ilka. And why is there no stream on YouTube? Well, on YouTube we're going to be posting the replays of these matches. So the matches are streamed on Twitch, and then the replay is posted on YouTube. But for the grand final of the eSailing Nations Cup and maybe the semifinals, no, not the semifinals, the bronze final and the grand final will likely be streamed on YouTube as well on World Sailing channels. 5 seconds till start. We see one Polish in the middle of the 3 Italians. That's a pretty good start from the
Wow,
Italians. We
what a
see
start from Italians.
yeah, fourth
Great stuff,
start
yeah.
from Simos, who fortunately touched the committee boat, so is being slowed down
Unlucky.
by the penalty system. And it is the 3 Italians ahead of the 3 Polish.
So probably they're just gonna let the first 2 boats sail away in the Italian team, and one of them will just stall the other boats, the Polish boats, behind. And this way they will just guarantee their second win in this match.
Yep, it might be part of the strategy to stay behind, catch them up on the wind shadow. Just need to make sure that they stay close. Because as I said, the wind shadow is smaller on the Ilka than on the Star, so you still have to be relatively close to the opponents to slow them down enough. If we're talking about like the names that we see on each team, FIV Rock is one of the best Italian players when it comes to team racing. 42, obviously, where you mentioned him, probably one of the best Italian players overall. And Mascarzon is, I'm gonna say, a relatively new name for me, so I don't really know his roster. But if he's been picked for the Italian team, Mascarzon Sabino, means that he does have a level. Korba, Andres Simos, we've seen these Polish players several times already. Very high level, and we see that Poland is putting a lot of work in eSailing, and it is definitely showing. We see their level rising, and they are a serious contender in this Nations Cup. F5E Rock is the first one to round the mark, and he's gonna be closely followed by Zimos and 42. And what do you think the strategy here for Italy is? Should F5E Rock just cruise forward and guarantee
They're
this first
closer,
place?
like Korba is closer to the to 42 than I expected, so he'll just try to catch him on downwind now, and then in this situation maybe FIV Rock will have to get back in the game, get back in the fleet, and try to and be ready for another fight with the Polish players. And now we can see 42s in the wind shadow of Sismup, so Sismup
Yep.
will eventually catch up.
We do see him slowing down bit by bit, and there's going to be this slalom dance
Yeah,
between the two of them. And well,
yeah,
his teammate Mascarzon Sabino is gonna align himself behind Seamless, try to slow down Seamless as well.
yeah.
That
He must
means
be trying
that
to, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that means that Corba is also chasing the Italian, and Andres is back in the mix. So what is FIV Rock doing? FIV Rock is still sailing fast at
Yeah.
the beginning and well at the top of the fleet, and I think that
He's
might be their
keeping
strategy.
uh
Yeah,
he's keeping his speed to see what will be the outcome of this battle between four boats here. So we got a penalty already. Uh, one of the Italian boats, one of the Italian Ilkas sailing behind of the fleet, but he's catching up again.
yep. And actually, as we said that, Rocco is actually slowing down. And I see Rocco un altro pianeta, which I'm gonna roughly translate. I'm guessing is Rocco is Earth and from another planet. Uh, and I think well, the first place is a very powerful place in a 3v3 because I don't think there are any ties possible. Maybe 18, 18.
Yeah. Which
Um,
team is winning with this score if the scores remain like this
well, that
as we
means
see
10
them?
points for the Polish and more for sorry, 10 points for the Italians and more for the Polish. So 10, 11 currently as it stands on the ranking on your left. So Poland needs to get one of the basically in 3v3, 1 and 3 or 1 and 2 wins you the game.
Yeah.
So Poland has to push 42 out of the top three.
Yeah, as a player who participated in the Nations Cup, I must say I think the level is higher on this one with the new race course because you only have one downwind and it is your best chance to catch up on the other teams because you have the control on the other boats with your wind shadow. But on the contrary, on upwind, the other boats, the boats in front of you have the control. So on the last upwind, the chances are too small to take over the other boats.
Yep, I absolutely agree with you, and just makes it more competitive overall. And with the current configuration, we have a shift, and it is currently Poland who will take the win. And as I say that, 42 sneaks back into third place. FIV Rock almost stopping full.
Yeah,
Probably going to try to do a dial down on Andres
yeah, because once you stop, it's really hard to get back your speed on with Ilka.
on the upwind, especially. Yep.
Yeah,
But he was just making sure that he puts Andres into his wind shadow to try to slow him down. Unfortunately, 42 is a bit stuck by Andres, so Andres is likely going to try to push him as much as he can away from the finish line. What is happening with the Simus and Mascarzon? But I think whatever happens, even if Andres crosses the finish line before 42, which is not the case, Italy are going to take the win for this round. It's 1 and 2 for Italy, 3, 4, 5 likely for the Polish, and number 6 for Italy again, which will make it 2-0 in this second race of the counter between Italy and Poland. Next up is going to be another interesting race. And I'm going to just put the scores for you. See 2-0 for Italy for race number
so
3.
we started with 2v2, then 3v3, and then 4v4. As the fleet is getting more crowded, the calculations are getting harder to do while you're racing. So how do you think they're doing that, the players behind their screens?
I'm not sure. I think they're kind of gonna adapt on the fly. We've seen some like set pieces from time to time from some of the teams. I don't know if they have that
Yeah.
for 5v5. Um, so yeah, I think they kind of make it on the fly. So like if an Italian sees a Polish player, or if a Polish player sees an Italian nearby, they're likely going to try to
Yeah.
attack it, try to slow it down. Obviously, you want
And
to
you have
have
some winning formulas, right? Like, by heart. Uh,
uh don't know them by heart yet for the 5v5, but I think basically if you stay away from 7-8, um you're fine. So basically if you have 1 and 2, don't have 7-8. Basically 7-8 I think is always a loss.
yeah.
And a false start from Fumarnsky.
Yeah. And if you're watching this and you're into team racing in real or in virtual, let us know.
Yep. Sponsored by Daddy by Stepka. Did not understand that. But never mind. Okay, so I would say it was overall a better start from the Italians than the Polish. It is also, as I say, that there's a Italian and a penalty, Tommy Tambo penalty put onto him by Scheidler Finn. Ormanski is more or less alone on the left. He decides to attack and is going to join the bulk of the fleet. But he is being controlled by Amos Di Benedetto just above him. And if we go back to the middle of the fleet here with Scheidler Finn, we're actually going to see a battle with Simus and Mascarzon Sabino. It's just still quite a packed
Yes,
fleet,
it is
quite
quite in the middle,
yeah.
Oscar. And I think we have a right shift coming up, but I'm not sure if it's right away. So we'll see if Sidelo Finn will be able to cross the fleet in the first place, and then maybe do a mark trap, sorry, at the first mark, and the stop the Italian players.
Yep. Mark Trap can be very effective. We see less of them in the end shape compared to the upwind downwind, I must say. Well, I've seen less at least. But we do see them from time to time, and it's going to be a hectic mark rounding, I believe, with the two first one. Amos Di Benedetto
Uh,
is having a penalty put onto him by Scheidler. Well played
Good
by
reflexes
Scheidler.
from Sidelo
Yeah.
Finn, yeah.
As the rest of the Italians, so we see it was Tommy Tambo trying to perform a mark trap on very manages to avoid it and put the penalty on Amos and Tommy Tambo. And almost another third penalty. It's almost like if the Polish were maybe focusing too much on putting penalties and not sailing fast enough, because while they were trying to put penalties on the Italian players, Lorenzo Caputo managed to sail past them and take a lead.
Well said. It is one of the mistakes on the match racing. You're too focused on the battle and penalizing other boats, but sometimes when you have the opportunity, you just gotta sail and sail fast.
Yep. Sorry, I was looking something in the background. Um, what happens so far? So we still have Lorenzo Caputo in first place. Scheidler Finn is doing his best to slow him down, but he is himself being slowed down by Mascarzon Sabino in a more effective way. So Lorenzo Caputo is still a bit faster and is going to manage to put a bit of distance. Um, I think if I'm the Italians, if I can keep that lead in first place, I would just continue on because I think you have better chances of winning by securing that first place in a 5v5.
Correct. And we have a solid gust coming in here. All the boats are trying to stay inside. and have the maximum speed they can get.
And we do see a fairly effective wind shadow from Amos on Simos, slowing down by almost more than a knot in speed difference, but there is a lot of dancing happening behind them.
Yes, so these last meters are quite critical because then it will be a reach. One last reach before the upwind, and it's much harder to catch up.
Exactly. If you wanna start this upwind in a strong position, because that's gonna allow you to control the rest of the fleet. And over here, if Zimos plays well, he might be able to control the two Italians behind him, while Veri and Formansky are onto Tommy Campbell, who manages to escape Formansky. And so Simos has a tough decision to make. Shadowfin is covering on Amos. Simos is trying to cover on Mascarzon. But that means that Tommy Campbell can escape on the left.
It's going to be an exciting finish
Yeah,
to
it's going to
see.
be a very
I'm trying
exciting finish.
to calculate at the moment, but they have 8th and 7th both Polish players, Polish team. So I think in this case it's going to be a win for Italy.
Well, currently I think it's a win for Italy. Yep. And I see Stekpop showing his support for Lorenzo.
Yeah,
It is nice to see.
I think
Um,
Saimus should have more risk. Yeah, Sidelofin's trying to do it at the moment. I think he's saying go, finish to his teammate, and he's just trying to stop the Italian boats. Because where he isn't too far.
yep, they have to try to push two Italians in the back. If we're doing the total, so 5-5, 18 for... Oh, so 18 is actually a draw in a 5v5, I think.
Yeah. And Simop is in the action as well now.
So if it is 18 as final score and a tie between the two teams, if I'm mapping correctly, Poland takes the win if it's 18-18. Because Lorenzo Caputo has
Penalty.
already
Penalty for Ramos
finished.
de
Yep,
Benedetto.
penalty from Amos that can change a lot. That means the Veri can
Yes.
catch up and manages to put another penalty on Amos. He's likely going to try to penalty sit the maximum. Is there a penalty on Mescalzon as well? And that is a very strong finish by the Polish. Is this going to be enough?
Amos still penalized, so
Amos still penalized. I think that might mean that the Polish take the win in this race. We'll do the math in just a second.
it is a win for Poland. Polish team.
Well, if that's the case, then that is very well played for them, and that will be a
Wow.
2-1.
Yeah.
Congratulations to them.
What a last upwind. Yeah.
Yep. That makes it a lot more exciting than the downwind, I must say.
That is correct. Because on a downwind, it's quite easy to follow what's happening, but in the upwind, the boats are quite close, moving slowly, so you have like the best action in slow motion in front of you.
Yep. And there we have the score. So race number 4 is going to be a 4v4 J70. Sorry, no, 5v5 offshore racer. We're going to talk about the offshore racer in just a second. A very interesting boat. But that is 2-1 for Poland in the time being. Happening at the same time is also Japan versus Switzerland. So we have Alberto taking care of that match. And he will give us updates as
Have we got news
they
on the
come.
score on the other side?
Well, they just started, so they must be still in their first race. Hey Maradoni, nice to see you in the chat. It is Omer with me tonight.
Hello there.
So 5v5 offshore racer, not an easy boat. It is quite maneuverable for its size. It's a very long boat, and the bowsprit can be a bit tricky to manage because, well, if the bowsprit starts too soon, it is considered a false start, and if it touches another boat, that can also be penalizing. So there's this little pole at the front of the boat that can be very annoying to deal with the offshore racer. But that was very well played in that last upwind from Poland. Putting that penalty on Amos really changed everything. And I think it was Veri who put the first one, correct? Or no, was it Simos? I forgot. But it was a very good team effort by the Polish over here. I did not ask it in the chat. All of you watching, what are your predictions for tonight? Currently 2-1 for Italy. Italy won 5-0 against France, and Poland won 4-3 against Germany. It is 20:06. 5 players on each team, so it's a go for race number 4. But yes, what are your predictions in scores? So Isaac is predicting Italian win, but by how much?
There we go. Start procedure started.
Yep. So 5-2 says Isaac. 5-2 for Italy. We'll see if that happens. N-shaped course again, but with very lighter winds, 13 knots in average on this course,
Yeah.
which means that the downwind is going to be very technical.
Yeah, but even with the light wind, offshore is a quite fast boat, and the start is quite critical because you have a great luffing march with this boat. The boat doesn't slow down or stop like Ilka when you luff. Try to luff the other boats. That's why they'll try to use it to penalize other boats on the start line. As you can see, the Italians boat already started doing it.
Yep, and we did see quite a few penalties, but now they're all over. All closer on the committee boat side, a penalty from pole 30 on pole 35 and on Velista
Yeah.
71.
Some boats took it too far and they just stopped there. I'm trying to figure out which players are. It's Team Yannick and Velista, and now they're behind the fleet.
But it is the offshore racer is usually like that. The fleet is not going to separate itself too much. They're all going to stay quite close to each other.
Yeah, you can see how big and fast they are. They're already at the first mark, almost.
And that was a close maneuver by Veri and managed to put a penalty on Moro di Napoli behind him. We didn't really talk about the players in this 5v5. We're seeing some new names on each team. Veri Furmansky were here in the 4v4 J70. Tomjanek is one of the new ones joining. Mieszko Morawski as well, and Pole 35. All very good Polish players that are going to be part of their national championship, which is going to be happening next week. And on the Italian side, well, we see some famous name with more Di Napoli, Amos Di Benedetto, Velista 71, who is a former eSailing world champion. Fabio Zach as well, and Luis Rio is also part of this Italian squad. Starting the downwind is currently it is 1-2 for Poland. A penalty behind on pole 35. I don't know if it was Velista 71 or Amos Di Benedetto who put the penalty on them.
Yes, and it is important to add, like, their wind shadow cover is quite huge, but not as effective as the other boats, other classes we just seen, which is making it challenging to catch up.
Yeah, I guess the offshore racer is the kind of boat that kind of keeps its momentum, and that's a penalty on Amos Di Benedetto given by pole 35 as Amos was trying to jibe in front of him. Pole 35 just changed his course slightly to touch and put the penalty on Amos. Meanwhile, Very is going to be the first one to reach the downwind mark, followed by Furmanski. So 1-2 for the Polish in this current configuration. It is also probably important to mention that we're still in the round robin stage. So each team will play every other team. And no one gets knocked out of the competition yet. And as I'm saying that, it's another penalty on Amos Di Benedetto from pole 35. True duel happening at the back of the fleet between these two players. So coming back to what I was saying, not being a knockout stage, so each team still plays even after a loss. This is just for seeding purposes. So maybe some of the teams are also testing out some players, testing out some
What a move by Velista. Sorry for cutting you out. He
go
just
for it.
penalized. Sorry, I said Velista. Sorry, Polish
Zniesco.
player. Yeah, Zniesco. He just penalized 2 Italian boats, and another penalty, which will give them a huge advantage now. But
Yeah, Tim Janik
another
just
one.
bouncing from penalty to penalty between Mardi Napoli and
Yes.
Velista 71.
Ah,
And by doing that, touches the mark.
no,
Is that
you
karma
cannot
or is
just
that
penalize 4 boats and do it to yourself.
but that could have been
Unlucky.
a very nice move and winning move. We see Very and Furmanski far ahead, waiting for their teammates. Maybe to see what's going to happen. They're deciding to not cross the finish line first. They're probably mapping right now to make sure that if they cross the finish line, their team can win. 1-2 is a pretty powerful position. Does that guarantee the win? I don't think.
Yeah, I think they agree with you. That's why they're waiting, just in case, before
Um,
finishing.
but we'll see if that changes anything. So if it's 1-2 for Poland and then 5, so 7, 14, 27. I think that might be enough. I think it's going to be very close still. And here is the final ranking in this 5v5 offshore racer. We're going to enter the scores shortly and see who won this round. But I think Poland might have. And
So
it is another win for Poland.
So now they catched up.
We caught up. It is now 2v2. So if Isaac's prediction is correct, that means that Italy is going to win the last 3 rounds. But 2v2 versus Italy is very well played by Poland. Completely agree with you over there, Rick. So definitely faring better than the French did against Italy. Next up is 9v9 49er, which is going to be closer than fleet racing. We're going back to the upwind downwind course that we know. And it's going to be a very fast race because there's going to be 23 knots of wind in average.
A lot of good players in the fleet.
Yeah, well, it's going to be close to the full team. I think both teams entered 12 players for this match.
So checking your minimap is quite important for the 49er because you have to follow the gusts and it will increase your speed exponentially, and that's why it's strategically so important.
Yep. Cool. So race is going to start in approximately a minute. 9v9 49er, we've seen Poland coming back and pulling off some very interesting moves and some very good plays against the Italians in these last two races. 9v9 is a bit more hectic and a bit harder to manage as a team race. So we'll see if there's any strategy put in place or if it's everybody just doing their race and trying to finish as fast as possible. We have 18 players in. It is currently 16, so it's a go for race number 5.
There we go. So what I'm thinking, they'll just try to do it like a fleet race this time, because you have many players and it's not easy to follow what's happening and calculate these circumstances.
Yep. Though I will say that there are some team tactics that you can put in place. We've seen it, I think it was France versus Sweden, if I'm not mistaken, where the French, like you would have like one French in front of one Swedish several times, and each of them would do a single mark trap on the player right behind them, and that's it. And if you do that on the whole chain, then you can slow down enough players, meaning that your players at the back manage to catch up. And with this simple maneuver, they managed to start from like a losing kind of position to a much more comfortable position and winning the race later on. 10 seconds to start. And boats lining up fairly evenly along the line. And well, it's going to be too complicated for us to try to predict accurately who is winning. We see a lot of red boats at the head of the ranking, but we also see a lot of red boats at the end of the ranking. So currently it's just too soon
But
to
it
say
seems
anything.
like we're gonna have a left-hand shift, a big one, but we have most of the Polish boats on the right-hand side of the race course. So let's see.
Yep. And I'm just gonna see if we have any updates from Japan versus Switzerland. And it looks like Japan took the first round in the 2v2 mixed race star. So currently it is 1-0 for Japan against Switzerland. Eva Italia Sailing POL 35 is purely second account. Doesn't really matter if it's a second account as long as only one of their account is participating. So POL 35 is not a second account from anyone else who is participating. I'm not even sure it's a second account at all. So, well, we've seen a switch in the ranking compared to the start of the race. We had a lot of Polish players at the start, and now we see a lot of Italian players at the start, and all the Polish players in the middle.
Yeah.
So Italy have both extremes, and Poland is managing the middle of the fleet. So watch out for the friendly fire. It is the normal course, so you have to leave the mark on port for this course. I see a Polish in penalty. Did not see how they got it. I hope it wasn't friendly fire for them. But we are seeing Mascalzon maybe trying to do a mark trap. He did not. And he just sailed ahead with Simos just behind him. Viva Italian saying this is just purely speculative, so unless you have actual proof of someone playing else under, well, one player having two accounts in this Nations Cup, there's no point in trying to speculate this. I don't know what happens if we have these extreme scenarios like we're seeing right now. If one team has the first places and the last places, while the other has the middle places, I don't know how that translates to. Obviously, the first places are very powerful, and the last places are very costly. And this might be 9 because, well, it's going to be 18 points if you arrive last. And we do see a couple of penalties, one on Simos, but one on Mascalzon, one on Pimpy. I think I saw one on Tommy Tamble, Lorenzo Caputo. A bit of a hectic mark rounding over here.
It is hectic indeed.
And meanwhile, in Japan versus Switzerland, Japan took race number 2. So it is currently 2-0 for Japan against Switzerland. I guess one of the downsides of having all of your players in the middle is that you might slow down your own players, and it might be a
Yes,
bit
and that's
harder
already
to.
happened during the downwind, I
Yeah,
think. They were too close to each other. They couldn't avoid their teammates.
but then you have Italy with 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 from Poland, and then in the middle slash lower end, but you do have more Italians, like 14, 15, 16, 17 are all Italians. So I guess if you can't catch up the players in front, you got to focus on what's behind and just make sure you don't friendly fire. And I saw a penalty on pole 35 given by, was it Mascalzon?
I think so, yeah.
So no mark traps from Poland on any Italian players. And watch out for the friendly fire. We see a mark
Yes.
trap from pole 35 onto Lorenzo Caputo.
Okay. We have Corbo between two Italian players.
Yeah, between Amos and Lostrio. Amos is going to try to push Corba towards his teammate Lostrio. And
Wow.
both of them take the penalty.
Wow.
keeping
What a
keeping his
move.
blood cool. Corba puts 2 Italian into penalty, which means that the 2 Polish players, Zimusp and Pole 35, are going to be able to catch up. Watch out for the friendly fire between the 2 Italians, Lostrio and Amos.
Yes, let's
Meanwhile,
see.
as
That
we were
might have
watching
been a
this,
turning point
yeah,
for the match, Oscar.
that was probably one of them. Yeah, the Lisa 71, Mordi Napoli, Fabio Zach have all crossed the finish line. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 for the Italians. And another penalty on Amos from Simos. Very well played from Simos. So the Italians a bit struggling at the back, but there are already 3 of them have already crossed the finish line.
Corba attacked to lost Trio too aggressively, and he got penalized right before the finish line.
Gonna be a very tight finish. What do you think? Who do you
I
think
think it is a win
winning?
for Italy, but I think it's gotta be close. I'm not sure.
That was round number 5. We're gonna tally up the scores. And see who won this round to break this tie. Currently 2-all between Italy and Poland. And after this race, give me 1 second to tally up the scores.
So while we're waiting, we have another J70 match coming up, 3v2, 3v3, sorry.
That is 83 points for Italy.
And
and 88 points for Poland. So it
ah,
is a win for Italy,
but it is close.
but it is very close. Yep.
Yeah. Frankly, kudos to Polish players. I think they're just doing a solid match tonight, because we have to just say that they're playing against Italia, who won 7-0 against France, one of the best teams in this game. And for now, they're doing a really good job.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely going to be a narrow win or loss for the teams. The scores are too tight, so even if Italy wins the last 2, 5-2 is still considered a narrow win. And well, I gotta say the Polish are fighting back. So 3v3 J70, we're going back into the N-shaped course. And
Yes, and
well,
the last match on J70 was 4v4, and it was a win for Poland. So let's see on this 3v3 they will get another victory or not.
cool. So 28. We have 7 boats in. So we have 1 Italian too much. And people in the chat, we're going to stop right there between the accusations and all of that. If you have a doubt on the player, you're going to file a protest. There is no point in trying to speculate against anything without any proof. And we're going to leave it there.
We just got a question from Sir Matita. What's the difference between mixed and normal J70 races? If I may say, mixed is both female and male players in the fleet, but normal can be only female or only male players. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Oscar.
That is correct.
So now, as this is a mixed fleet, we have female players as well in this fleet, Aquila, Antilla, and Pimpy.
Yep. So I'm just going to answer Moritz. Hi all. Who is winning? So currently Italy is winning 3-2, but it is definitely not an easy win for Italy. Suar Martita, so you just answered that question. The difference between the mixed J70 and the normal J70 is that in the normal J70 it can be all female or all male, whereas is the mix, it is necessary to have at least one male and at least one female. Viva Italia Sailing, and how can a protest be filed? You just need to join the World Sailing Discord, and there's a place where you can file a protest.
Okay, 20 seconds to go.
Are many females here? So on the Italian side, this time we have Pimpi, who is also a PRO in real life. And well, from before their previous match, Italy had Sozi as female player, and Aquila Antila is the female on the Polish side, also a grand finalist in the eSailing World Championship.
Friendly fire, as you were speaking.
Friendly fire, that is a bummer.
For Team Italy.
I'm gonna say the lineup on both teams is very good.
Yeah.
42 FIV
So,
Rock, both excellent team racers.
yeah.
Pimpi as well. Well, we've seen her several times in the Nations Cup before for the Italian team. Kila Antila will, as I just said, a grand finalist in the eSailing World Championship. And Very and Shidlofin, both excellent Polish player, Very being the captain of this Polish squad.
So nothing but stars on the fleet.
Yep.
On this match. But we'll see if that friendly fire will cost a lot to Team Italia. Because the fleet isn't crowded as 9v9. If you have only 6 players in the fleet, each penalty counts.
I'm just gonna check if we have any more updates from the Japan versus Switzerland. Not yet. So Very is going to be the first one to round the mark. The first windward mark, and
Mark Trap by
Mark
Rock.
Trap
By
from
Rock.
Rock onto Shidlofin. And just as I say that, the score for race number 3 in Japan versus Switzerland has fallen, and I believe it is a third round for Japan.
Okay. I think Very just launched his spinnaker a bit early, and he lost speed during the reach. And that is why 42 is catching up and have
Yeah,
him
and
under
well,
his wind shadow. So it's gonna be close.
yeah, we've seen in a 3v3 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 wins in a 3v3. And with this current control, basically you need to score 10 points or less in total to win the 3v3. Let's focus a bit on 42 versus Very at the top of the fleet over here. We do see 42 managing to put Very in his wind shadow,
Yeah.
Very slowing down slowly but surely. Almost a knot difference, more than a knot difference now between the two of them.
Yeah.
Which means that
If
on the right,
Yeah,
where there
go
is
ahead.
wind, the other players are going to start catching up.
So yeah, I think this is the position to be if you just want to control the other boat. We still have a battle going between Very and 42 on the other side.
Let's go watch that again. Very and 42 still in this duel between the two of them.
So I don't think it was a really good strategy from Very, because he continued jibing and now he was out of the ley line. He was pushed out by 42 out of the ley line, and it seems like 42 has control at the moment. What you want to do, if I were in his place, I would just keep my starboard tack to have the control on the boat, even if I'm under his wind shadow, and I would just try to drag him as much as I can into the fleet.
Yep. And it's becoming very close. One of them is going to take a penalty, and it is 42 who takes the penalty from Very, finally managing to shake him off. But so Pimpy is in second place for the Italians, and FIV Rock doing a wonderful mark trap onto Very, putting his teammate back in the match. Kila Antila is going to sail above and take a penalty from 42, and we're going to see two Polish players penalized by the Italians, FIV Rock and 42. Very well played by them, and that means that these two Italian players are going to be able to take the lead and start this upwind above the two Polish players. And as we're saying that, Shiloh Finn is putting a penalty on Pimpy.
Yes, but I don't know if it's gonna change a lot for the race. Let's see, even if they have 2, 3, and 4, it is a win for Italy.
Yeah, with the current configuration as we see it on the ranking on the right, it is a win for Italy currently if the race was to stop now. And well, it's going to be tough to defend for Shiloh Finn because
Yeah,
well,
but he has the starboard advantage, so if he uses his maneuvers really well when they tack, he'll be able to penalize them. Let's see.
we'll see if he does a dial down on FIV Rock,
First
because
maneuvers
exactly
coming.
what he does. And he's likely going to try to sit on FIV Rock, called penalty sitting.
And we got a big shift coming up from right-hand side of the race course, which will put, which player is there? The Polish player. I think it's Very in a really good position now. Sorry, it's Aquila Antila.
Yeah, she has a straight line towards the finish. 42 manages to tack just in front of her, is going to try to slowly luff up to try to put her in his wind shadow. She's forced to tack again. And the Polish really
Yes.
need to put one of the Italians further back.
Less than 100 meters and top 3 Italian players. Yes, it is a win for Italy.
Yeah, it's looking like a 1-2-3 for Italy. Well defended by them. At some point
And
we
an
thought that
aesthetic
Poland,
finish.
yeah, at some point we thought Poland might have taken the win, but they bounced back, and that was a very interesting race to watch. So 1-2-3 for Italy, 4-5-6 for Poland, which makes it another win for Italy, making it 4-2 in total. And well, the last race is going to be a very fast race. It's going to be in the F50, a 4v4. We're going to see which member was chosen on each team.
And it is safe to say Italians love that boat.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we'll see. I'm just guessing. FIV Rock and 42.
Well, I think 42 is out of races. He already raced 3 times, so he cannot race again.
Okay, yeah.
And so on the Italian side, we're going to have FIV Rock, Velista 71, Tommy Campbell, and Moro Di Napoli. And on the Swedish side, we're going to have Akila Antila, Tim Janik, Krzysiek 1227, and POL 35.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
It's going to be fun to watch. It is so 4v4 FD. It's going to be a very fast race. So we're going back into the reaching course. So it's going to be a reaching start, leading into a downwind, then two upwind downwinds, and finishing on a downwind with a reaching.
Is this one of the new colors, Oscar, that we see on the Team Poland?
Actually, I think both teams are using one of the new colors. So we have some new Halloween colors still available in the marina. If you go to customize your boat, this is where you'll find them. And
yeah, they look good on F50. This is the first time I'm seeing on this boat.
And so we'll see it when the race starts. But this reaching course is a bit different than the one we're used to. So it's the course that was used during the semifinals for the eSailing World Championship, which means that there is a smaller starting zone, a narrower course. So you really got to be able to control the F50 correctly if you want to be efficient. And the best way to do that is to having an impeccable start. In the F50 especially, the boat is so fast, so you want to avoid penalties at all costs because you're going to be slowed down way too much. And you want to reach that first reaching mark and downwind gate as fast as possible. And it is currently 4-1, all 8 players are in. And I think I've missed some followers: Gelatao, Mattia, Bernard, and MK Otpo, and Suer Matita. Thank you for the follow. And it is a go for this last race in this fixture of Italy versus Poland. 4-2 for Italy. Will Poland be able to take this last round? And Suer Matita subscribed with Prime. Thank you for that. So 50 seconds till the start. F50 is maybe one of my favorite boats. I like it fast.
It is fun.
And well, we will see how they go. So Tommy Tamble, FIV Rock, well, we've already seen all of these players that are on the screen right now. Tommy Tamble, one of the OGs on the Italian squad, same as Valista 71. FIV Rock, their team racer star. Mori Napoli is also a big name in the eSailing community.
And
on
we are speeding up before we hit the start line.
7 seconds to start. Boats are starting
to speed up. A lot
to speed
of
up.
boats trying to stay on the leeward to be able to control the other boats.
It's a penalty on Tim Janik trying to avoid Tommy Tamble. That was a great move from Tommy Tamble. A penalty on POL 35.
What a start.
Which is an excellent start for Italy. But Krzysiek 1227 is still in the mix, but he's on the outside.
Yeah, and they were quite close on the
run
marking.
Tried to attack Tommy Tamble, but took the penalty herself. And penalty from Krzysiek, no effort to try to dodge this one. He probably thought that it was better just taking it than trying to slow down and going elsewhere. But that means that Italy have 1, 2, 3, and 4th place as they start the downwind. So that was an excellent start from the Italians. Watch out for the friendly fire over there. And it's going to be hard for them to bounce back.
It is. It's going to be hard. And just one interesting detail with these boats, even when you're sailing downwind, it is too fast that you have the wind shadow behind your boat. So actually that's why the boats who are in the front are shadowing the boats behind. And that's why it is even harder to catch up with the other boats.
That is a very accurate statement. The boat going faster than the wind means that the wind shadow is not what you might expect. Meanwhile, Japan versus Switzerland, I'm seeing the score for race number 4 it is, and looks like it is a 4-0 for Japan.
Yeah, but still, Polish boats are quite close, and anything can change any moment, because just one tiny smalling down on F50 can cost a lot for a player.
Yep, penalty are very costful in the F50, and Krizek 1227 took a penalty. Was it from Tommy Tamble? As Tommy Tamble takes a penalty from him right after, meaning that the Polish have managed to push one of the Italians towards the back of the fleet. That's not going to be enough, but that is a start.
Yes, that is a start indeed. Oh, who do we have here in the comments? Pimpy is
Pimpy
accepting.
is over here, but she's not racing her
She's
this race.
accepting
So,
compliments, I think.
and Matita, the nation skins that we can play with are the participants to the cup. So each federation has their own M&A livery that you can equip on most of the boats. So some of the boats won't have them. That is the case for the F50, the Flying 75, and the Mocha. But all the other boats have the M&A liveries that you can equip. And they're free to equip, so you can absolutely use them. And most M&As most Federation will use these liveries during the Nations Cup
We
because
just got a
they are
penalty
quite
here.
beautiful. And I'm going to jump over there to Tim Janik and penalty. We do
It
see the
was
two
a good
Polish
move
over
by
there.
FI Ruak because he was catching up.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as they have this 1, 2, 3, they're safe. And well, it's going to be very hard for Poland to catch up unless there's friendly fire or touching the mark or something like that from the Italian sides. And what help can they use in the race like Best VMG? So they're racing in what we call arenas. So these are private races. Um, and in the so-called arenas, every race help is automatically given to every sailor. So they're racing with full race helps for everyone. So everyone on equal footing with all race helps active. And a friendly fire on from 035 on Tim Janik. I saw Tim Janik slowing down. It appeared. And well, I gotta say, it was a very fun match to watch. It is going to be 4-3 for 4-5-2 for Italy. So who was it? Was it Isaac? Isaac 5-2
Yes.
for the Italians. Prediction was accurate.
Yeah, congratulations, Isaac. Yeah, he's saying my prediction was correct. It was correct indeed. But it was an easy prediction to guess because it was quite close.
Yeah, it wasn't easy at all. And well, here we have the final score 5-2 for Italy. A nice battle from Poland, definitely did better than the French in the first race. Looks like we're just attacking the French every time. But that 7-0 was something that we were not expecting.
Yes.
But
I
very
think it
well
was
played from
like the
Italy.
biggest surprise match of the event. 7-0.
And just gonna send over the scores, and we're gonna wrap up the stream. Also, might switch to Japan versus Switzerland. Get an update from there. But yeah, 5-2 for Italy versus Poland. Poland managing to win the 4v4 and the 5v5. The offshore racers, some great moves. From the Polish. Italy continuing to, well, proving again that they are a very good team and not to be messed with. And well, their next race is going to be, well, we have Japan versus Switzerland currently ongoing. And the next one after Japan versus Switzerland, it's going to be Japan versus Germany tomorrow at 8 p.m. UTC. So to give you a update on Japan versus Switzerland, it is currently 5-0 for Japan. And that match unfortunately was not going to be streamed. We're just going to record it, and we're then going to publish the replay of that match. Let's have a look at the overall standings. We will show them to you in a second.
Yeah. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media to be to be informed on the events, on the upcoming events.
Sorry, I'm just updating the standings so that I can show them to you.
No worries, Moritz. It's Ömer, if you wanna know my name. And let us know where you're from, guys.
And there we have it. So standings overall, Italy has taken back their first place with 8 points, 2 played, 2 wins. France and Poland are tied in second place with 5 points each having played once and lost once. Sweden is in fourth place with 4 points, having won a match and lost a match. Germany in fifth place with 2 points, having played only once and lost their only match. And Switzerland in the same scenario as Germany. Switzerland and Japan are currently having their own match. And is there any updates I can give you on that match? It is still a 5-0 for Japan versus Switzerland. Next match is going to be, as I said, Germany versus Japan. That is tomorrow at 8 p.m. UTC on the Twitch channel. It's going to be live streamed as well. And well, I think we can wrap it up, Ömer.
Yes, we can.
Thank you all for joining us. It's been a blast. It's been a very tight match, very competitive match, and well, can't wait to see more. Congratulations to Italy. Congratulations to Poland to having put up that fight. And we'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.